Hello and welcome to the Full FX Unfiltered. My name is Colin Lambert. I'm publisher of the Full FX, and I'm delighted to be joined for this episode by an old friend, Tim Cartledge, who's Chief Data Officer at Tradefeedr.
Indeed.
Great to see you, Tim. Last time you were in, we recorded the video, I think it was probably around this time last year actually. We just touched upon the Algo forecasting projects that Tradefeedr was just starting. Nearly a year on, what's come out of that? You know, I mean, where are we now, and is there anything come out of that that's maybe surprised you?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for asking. So the Algo forecasting tool is our first foray into pre-trade. You know, before that we were in the data collection and API business and TCA and that sort of stuff. But as our first foray into pre-trade, so you know, very brief recap. That's a tool that allows you to predict the performance of any liquidity-seeking algo. We create our own Tradefeedr forecasts of, you know, fast, medium, slow algos to give a sort of curve of performance and duration. And also we can model any individual LP's algo. So for that section, the big thing is, you know, a year ago we had just the Tradefeedr numbers in aggregate. Now we've got about 15 individual LP algos that appear in the same tool. So we think we've got about half the algos that are available, but majority of them are in the in the better half.
Yes,
unsurprisingly. So for, you know, out of the top 15 algos for a particular request, you know, I'd say that, you know, 10 of them are now visible, which is a big change. So there's been a lot of support from the LPs, and clients are now looking at that tool as part of their algo selection. You know, kind of thoughts. So that's well underway. I think now we're about at the point that we've got enough participation and enough data in there that you can use it as an algo wheel, that you can construct it as an algo wheel.
Because that's kind of where it was going, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Well, it was two things. One, just a general execution advisory. It's a data-driven, scientific. You know, how long is it going to take me to execute a certain amount? What's it going to cost me for a certain amount of aggression given market conditions? So it's, you know, it ticks that off. But yeah, now it's evolved to the point that I think we're about there, that you can build an algo wheel out of it, which is new.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, we're certainly new in FX, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. If I remember when we first started talking about this a few years ago, there was a degree of dissent within the industry actually over the value of an algo wheel, because some saw it as being not a meritocracy, as in, oh, it's your turn. Yeah. That's not really how it's played out, is it?
No, and that's not how we've approached it. You know, I don't think we've got anything particularly to add on whose turn it is. That's you know, that's up to, you know, kind of who folks want to deal with. But as far as what is the data telling us is working well, or you know, has been working well, you know, that is certainly something that we can do. Yeah. But it's only part of the puzzle. So the algo bit is part of the, you know, is part of the puzzle. The thing that our clients are telling us loud and clear through our new advisory board, where we have the buy side, you know, kind of with the forum, you know, saying what it is that they're after. The thing that's come across loud and clear from that is that the pre-trade decision making starts with, should I do RFQ or algo?
Yeah.
So that's a bigger decision than just which algo to choose, is whether you should choose one at all or whether you should do RFQ. And if you do RFQ, who do you ask and how many do you ask? And this is what we've been working on recently, and this is like the cutting edge of the research that I've been doing over the past few months.
I mean, that is actually quite a complex project, isn't it? Because RFQ really, you know, depends on so many things in terms of the price you're going to deliver. You know, I can just about remember going, oh, I'm long, I better skew this.
Yeah.
It is a very complex thing to introduce maybe RFQs into that process?
So with all these things, it's not, the cleverness isn't that it's not that we can just do maths better than somebody else. That'd be a silly thing to say. It's getting the data.
Yeah.
So if you're an RFQ, if you're a platform that hosts RFQs, you haven't got the algo data. If you're an LP, you know what your algos do, but you haven't got what the expected best bid and offer is of the client, because that's spread over multiple LPs.
Yeah.
So it's just, where does the modelling sit to actually bring these bits together? And we're getting enough data from enough places that we've actually got the picture of the data, and then the modelling's actually the easy bit once you've got the data. I mean, that's the hard bit.
And I guess that's a critical mass element of it. Yeah, you can only really go live with and provide value when you do get that critical mass.
100%. So it's having the relationships with the platforms. You can get the data. It's getting a critical mass of the algo business through. It's building that network into enough places that we can actually get all the data from the same point to be able to answer these questions for clients.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what's kind of neat about where we've got to. We've now got to the point, we've got a big enough network and enough data coming in, we can actually solve some new problems that have never been solved. Not in FX anyway.
No.
Certainly.
Sorry, other markets exist? I've heard of something called fixed income.
I've done 28 years in FX. The next 28 I might do in fixed income. Let's see.
Oh, in that case, you're dead to me. Is actually with the buy side advisory groups. Obviously, was set up a couple of months ago.
Yep.
How does it work? Is it regular meetings, or is it specific requests at any time?
So we're very we're very respectful of people's time. So we're not just going to call a meeting regularly. Just for the sake of having a meeting. That said, we've had 3 in the last 2 months.
Okay. Which I guess shows there's a lot of interest in execution quality.
Absolutely. And so yesterday was the pre-trade advisory that had 22 buy side, and like big buy side clients at. The previous ones were on the more on the reporting side of things. So there it's the desire is that people have a common framework to talk to their banks. You don't want to have different reports with every different LP. You just want to have a common framework. You're then not talking about where the numbers have come from. You're talking about what the numbers are saying.
Yeah,
that's just easier for everyone. Yeah. So there's a ton of work on reporting, and that's one. Yeah. I'd say that's one big theme of that the buy side are asking. And the other big theme is the pre-trade, and that's that is the simple. Simple questions to ask. Do I do RFQ or do I do Algo? If I do Algo, who should be on the panel? How does that wheel work? If I do RFQ, how many people do I ask and who do I ask, and how to get that panel, kind of refreshed over time. That's it.
And so I guess therefore that does actually provide that, a benefit. So much of our focus is on the buy side, and we know everybody, everything's about the client. That's why you all make $10 billion a year in foreign exchange. But we'll gloss over that one. But I mean, actually, there are benefits here for the service providers, the LPs and algo providers, aren't there?
Yeah, 100%. So case in point, how many people should you have in a panel? So on average, it can be a little different if it's an EM panel or a liquid panel. But broadly, we see if you're asking more than 7. That the prices that you're getting are going to start widening. Maybe not that day if you've just started doing it, but if as a custom and practice you're asking larger panels than 7, we don't see that the effective top of book is actually any tighter in the end, because you're widening out. You've got more chance of information leakage. You've got you haven't got such a strong relationship with the LPs. You're at risk in if like another event happens that perhaps you're not as important. So we would say around 7 is the right number of people to ask. Probably the best 6.
That's actually
and
higher
one
than
more.
I thought. Actually, I must admit, I've always thought, maybe 4 to 5. Given the sort of, I guess, the structure of the LP landscape. I guess it depends on the size, doesn't it?
It does, and it'll depend on the size as well. But we see a lot of skewing.
Yeah.
A lot of skewing. And I guess, in larger size that becomes less of a thing, but so much of who wins is dominated by how much they're skewing. Yeah. But if you ask a small number of people and they're all the wrong way around,
then it becomes an issue.
Not helpful. So it's somewhere around 6 or 7.
Okay.
But that's a benefit to LPs because you get a better relationship with the client. You can make more money. The client doesn't pay any more. The LP makes more because there's less information leakage.
They're skewing for a reason.
So it's the goal is to just build a better. Better ecosystem.
And I guess actually it was interesting. You made a point there saying it may not happen immediately if you're asking 15, for instance, just to pick a random number out. But actually, as the analysis helps the LPs build their business, it will happen quicker. You will be widened out quicker, wouldn't you? Because ultimately, at some stage, this analysis is going to be done a lot quicker than a daily run. It'll be actually this client has asked us 3 times today.
Yep.
As part of, they're clearly asking everywhere.
Yep.
Within 2 hours, they could be widened out.
So certainly the feedback loops are faster, and so yes, certainly the feedback loops are faster. And we're talking about buy side. The sell side is also asking for data. They want to know where they rank with clients. What the kind of wallet ranking is. They want data as well. So
that pure analysis has become a big thing today.
Yeah, huge.
I mean, is this part of a wider move? Something I'm kind of sensing from conversations I'm having is very much that we get into I hate to use the word next generation, or the next stage of thinking around execution quality. And actually, in a way, Tradefeedr kind of reflects that. It used to be about, okay, here's your TCA report. How well did you do? File away, use for compliance. Break glass.
It was compliance driven.
Break glass in case of compliance, and then move on. Then we kind of got into a little bit more around, okay, can you use your TCA reports to inform your future execution? Now we're into pre-trade. Is there actually a broader debate in our industry now about execution quality, and people are looking at saying, we've got this data analysis tools, we've got to be using them in a different fashion? Or are they just content to build them into their existing workflows?
So these, I think the big thing is the accessibility of private data. I think it's public data, what rates have been quoted on exchanges, volumes on exchanges. That's even trade reporting, pretty accessible. Private data, where you're getting quotes on a bilateral basis or from multiple different venues.
Which is the majority of the foreign exchange market.
Absolutely. The data gets lost. So to be able to bring it all back to one point where it's cleaned, normalized, and securely held, so that all the parties can see their own data, whether it's quotes or trades or whatever. I think that's the new thing. And we always say, we're not a TCA company, we're a data company, and it's managing that private data. It just happens that TCA is one of the use cases, so we do that.
Yes.
Pre-trade is another use case, so we do that. But it's really, what can you do if you've just lowered the barriers to getting at your own data, whereas previously it was just too difficult to get hold of. So that's the big change.
And you probably didn't get a complete picture.
Correct. And a lot gets forgotten. It's things like the thing I'm currently working on is modelling what the expected stack position is of an LP if you ask them in competition in a panel. But you think every time if you've got 7 people, I hear that's a good number.
I've heard
and you ask an RFQ of 7 folks, that's 14 numbers you get back. And you kind of only remember one, the top one on the side you care about. The other 13 are forgotten. But you can build a really, really good picture of who is adding value to that panel. By looking into the stack of where they are, where they skew to. Okay. Maybe they're on the wrong side, but they're high up on the wrong side, and that could be useful to remember in the future, and that sort of thing. So it's getting at all that data, recording it, making it accessible. And then we just put we add value by putting some analysis on top. It's really the data that's important.
And I guess that actually that would also probably show up I guess, not outliers, but quirks in the data, saying LP2 happens to be particularly good between 2 and 3 p.m. London time on the third Wednesday of the month.
It would
actually
show
that
that
stuff up, wouldn't it?
if that was happening.
Because there are patterns to flow, aren't there? I mean,
so yes, there could be something really quirky like that. Some of the more everyday quirks. It's like where's the side of the price that's like skewed the wrong way for you?
Yeah.
Like, how far away is that? If you ask a panel and they're all got the same position and they're all skewed, you're looking for having some people in your panel that aren't skewed as much. Yes. You would think you want people that skew.
Yeah.
But maybe you need at least one that doesn't skew as much, so that if everyone's the same way around, they're at least somewhere near the middle.
Yes.
It's that sort of a thing. It's profiling it and then building an optimal panel.
And I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's about profiling, but the profiling has to be dynamic.
Absolutely. Yeah. It has to keep being updated.
Because I kind of look at it and think to myself, if I'm asking 7 people and they're all skewed one way, perhaps what's actually happening is they've just shown me the market. and where I think it is not where it is. Yeah.
Well, and that could be true too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Just finally, Tim. We can put our sort of get our crystal ball out and look into that. What do you think the next frontier is in this sort of market data landscape? Structure, the industry structure there. Where do we go? Is it simply other new products? Is it new techniques?
I think the tricky bit. So we could talk about new products all day. It's say that it's the network and getting the data that's the hard bit. The new products are actually that's where all the good stuff is, but that's actually the easier bit. I think the hardest bit is where all this stuff goes.
Yeah.
So you can get folks saying, I like that report, put it in the drawer. I like this screen. Maybe I'll log into it. But to actually get it into their workflows, so that it's a seamless part of how they're operating, I think that's a question we get asked. It's like, well, this is all great. How do I actually just have this seamlessly as part of my as part of my workflow, because I'm busy and I just need it to be there. So it's that integration, I think, but that will come. Will come.
Do you think also where we end up, and we'll use our contractually obligated mention of AI here, that we end up actually where the execution quality, the post-trade data, is actually being analysed more or less in real time to inform an execution that could take place in the next 3 or 4 minutes or next 3 or 4 hours. As in, we know we can look at post-trade data and inform our future executions. I imagine it takes some time at the moment.
Yeah, well, it takes time because it doesn't mean anything unless you've got a bit more data. We deal with noisy stuff.
Yeah,
it doesn't. You need a reasonable run of data.
Yeah.
Certainly, you certainly can't make snap judgments on the basis of one thing.
But on the basis that every new execution is added in, it will effectively be analysed as part of the bigger picture.
Correct. Yeah. But I think that will be. I think you still end up with weekly or monthly optimization processes. Yeah. You're not going to change your panel every second. You're gonna say, well, okay, I think this works for cable.
Yeah.
This month.
Yeah.
And you'll have 6 LPs that you believe are the ones that are going to give you the best results for that panel, whatever the best algorithm means. And the 7th one is where you need to get data.
Yeah.
Who should be swapped in or out, and that's like an exploratory operation. And then at the end of a week or a month, you then create the next panel. And so I don't think it's going to be. It's not going to be like instantaneous. And I know our company would be worth 10 times as much if it said the word AI. It used to be blockchain. Let's say the word AI. We're not going to put everything into ChatGPT. It's just good quality stats and regressions and all that stuff. We're not just going to throw everything into ChatGPT. because it lies.
Yes. Well, and has been
It doesn't
proven
do
to.
maths very well.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and will actually cover its tracks. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes, exactly.
Correct.
Yeah. It's a fascinating area still, isn't it? And I think it does seem to be moving on a bit quicker now. So great to see you, and thanks for your time.
Thanks for
giving us the updates. And it's
talking about it.
yeah. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll be back again soon.
Thank you.